A very warm welcome to the viewers of Sparkling Conversations. I'm very excited today to be able to host this session because we have a very special guest with us today for this conversation, and he's none other than Mr. Lim Him Chuan, country head of DBS Singapore. What makes today extra interesting and exciting for me is that today is Him Chuan's 24th anniversary with DBS.
Yes.
Congratulations on this milestone.
Thank you.
And just to kick off, I think the first question I have for you is really around your exciting, diverse journey in the banking industry. Now in DBS, but I know you started with other banks as well. And you transitioned into the banking industry from starting your career in accounting and audit. So can you tell us a bit more about how those beginnings helped you to transition into the current industry that you're in?
Thank you. Yeah. So Victor, thank you so much for this chance to speak to you so closely. I think we have met a few times over some drinks and singing, but never really had a chance to speak like that. Yes, I'm really quite excited because today is indeed my 24th year at the bank, at DBS Bank. It's been really an amazing journey that I never expected when I graduated from accountancy school back in 1992. But actually, I didn't plan to study accountancy, right? For full disclosure. Disclosure is very important in the accounting world, so just for that record. I wanted to be a teacher when I was young. That was my ambition. And I did, apply for, a degree in economics and statistics and to be a teacher. And I think I got a scholarship from PSC. But guess what? My late brother, right, told me that he was alive then, of course, right, and said, forget about that, right? It's taking too long. Go take up accountancy. It's a great degree. It's a professional degree. 3 years only. If you do well, you'll get auto honors. And when you graduate, I'm going to recommend all my SME clients to you because he was doing insurance. So I can refer them to you to do bookkeeping for them. So I say, wow, that sounds like quite a nice a business model, without having to put in too much effort, and yet I can get a lot of returns immediately. Also because my dad then was very old already, right? So I just wanted to have a job, to get myself started in my life. And I was just very lucky that I got admitted to accountancy. It was very hard to get in. An accountancy degree, a course, that we all wanted to go into at the point in time, the cutoff points were very high. So I was just like, wow, I managed to get in. It was not easy. And the even better news was that I managed to get a scholarship from Pricewaterhouse. Yeah, so I know that you're also a PW or PwC alumni, and I got a scholarship from PW, and I completed my course, and then I worked for the firm for 7 years, including 2 years in New York on consulting. Interestingly, as I was doing my audit work, I didn't have any banking clients in my portfolio initially. One of my peers, who is now in my bank as my colleague, he resigned from PW, and one of his clients was JP Morgan. So I was asked to take over JP Morgan engagement from him. And when I started that engagement on the first day at the bank at JP Morgan at Shenton Way, I was quite confused because it wasn't your typical bank. I didn't see any branch tellers. There was no ATM machine, right? And I asked my seniors and said, hey, what is this JP Morgan company all about? And they told me that actually it's a bank. It's an investment bank. So that's when I started to get involved in banking audits, right, including DBS Bank and many other banks. So banking, auditing, accounting, to be honest, wasn't on my radar when I was young, because to me, teaching was something that I was really inspired to do with many teachers that I've met in schools, my principals. I really feel that they were the ones that I always call them the engineers of the human souls, right? Teachers. So I wanted to do that kind of work. Yeah. But all is not lost. Right? Even in my current role at the bank, I do have a lot of different platforms or opportunities to actually teach, to share. Including today, I'm glad to be here at this event to talk to you. I think it's also a form for me to share and teach anybody who is interested to listen to what I say.
Him Chuan, what you said that really resonated with me was this very almost stereotypical part about accountants, right? Whereby we start thinking very practically. There's the conversation that you had with your brother, saying that accounting is professional.
Yes.
It's and then what I really liked was when he said that there was a commercial angle to it, right? Yeah. He could give you referrals. Wow, we love to hear that, right?
Exactly.
And then there are opportunities. And because people often associate this very practical part with us, accountants. But I think that you are an individual who is outstanding in our marketplace and industry that kind of breaks the mold of what we see in accountancy. We are breaking stereotypes. And so why I find this impressive is that it started from very humble, practical considerations. But today, you have stepped through the halls of large auditing firms, investment banks, and then now in DBS Singapore, and taking on the role as country head. And I expect that you will be driving strategy and business decisions at a very high executive level. So in this role now, can you tell us a bit more about what impact that you're looking to achieve in this current role that you're in?
Sure, yeah. Before answering that question, I just wanted to remind myself, and I guess for everybody, that in life, luck is very important. So who you meet is very important. Okay, and if let's say in my first year at Pricewaterhouse, if the job administrator did not reassign JP Morgan to me, right, then I would have been involved in banking audits. Right? So I think luck is important. If I've not met many of the very good managers and partners in the firm, or my managers in JP Morgan or at DBS Bank who were willing to give me a chance, right, take some risk to me and give me a chance to do different things, I don't think I'm able to do what I do today. So I think just have to bear that in mind. Timing, luck is very important. Now, having said that, going back to your question on, in my current role as the country head for DBS in Singapore, I think that it's a very onerous role. It's a very important role. Why? Because DBS in Singapore is about 60% of the whole DBS group's business. We have about 90% of the market share in terms of the consumer banking base. We have many large corporate companies, SMEs, mid-caps in our portfolio of clients that we need to serve. More importantly, I think we, in a sense, have been very much part of the post-independent story of Singapore. Right? I mean, DBS Bank was formed in 1968, 3 years after Singapore became independent. Why? Because I think we know the story, right? We left Malaysia. The only way we could survive was to industrialize. We had to invite, investments, FDIs in Singapore. But we also needed, an ecosystem or a community of local businesses that are able to survive and thrive. But it was not easy for those companies to get financing. Okay, and because we talk of VUCA world these days, it was also VUCA world then, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So nobody actually has any kind of confidence that Singapore, will succeed, right? And so as a result of which, the government decided that they needed to support the enterprises by setting up, a financing team within EDB. right, to give this kind of support. Then over the years, the demands grew, and as a result of which, in 1968, the team was then carved out to form DBS Bank, and the former name was the Development Bank of Singapore,
yes.
right? Yeah. So I would say that, if you look at a lot of the, big, investments in Singapore, whether is it, Westin, Raffles City, the first condo project at, Pandan Valley, in Singapore, Plaza Singapura, a lot of things that you see in Singapore were a result of, the investments that were made, supported by DBS Bank, right? So I think we have the heritage. Not forgetting that we also have a very, very famous, household brand in the community known as POSB, more than 140 years old already. So I think we have this special position, right, among the Singapore people. And so in my capacity, I think it's very important, number one, to ensure that this heritage that we have inherited continues to actually serve its purpose for both the people as well as for the businesses in Singapore, right? Now, on the other hand, I do think that the business environment is changing, right? And DBS Bank, has been at the forefront of adopting, digitalization, of using AI. And while we are facing, of course, some competition from the fintechs, from the new, banks in the digital space, I think that DBS, continues to be the bank that is able, right, to differentiate, right, ourselves by being quite committed to this agenda. Now, we're not saying that we are going to just be digital, okay, but it's not digital only, but digital, as a key augmentation, and at the same time we have to ensure that whatever we do, we also do it properly, right? So this whole focus on innovation, on digital is important, right? With a very solid kind of like, I would say resilient way of doing things, right? Yeah. Then number three is, as you know, Singapore is a very attractive place, right, for wealth management. Okay, I mean, in view of the dark clouds are forming because of tariff wars and all that, you do see that we have a lot of inflows, okay, of money coming into our country, and it's a flight to safety. Okay? So I do think that a bank like DBS, is well positioned to be able to also, do that business well. And continue to grow Singapore as a very important financial center for wealth management in Asia. And finally, I think that Singapore, it's not unique to Singapore, but basically Singapore is an aging, society. So we also have, I think, a very important role to prepare, our fellow, citizens, right, for the future, and that cannot start only when they get old. Right? I mean, the plan, for aging has to start early. Okay, so it's important that we frame a very clear life cycle process, for different segments of our customers. Now, whether they are in, they are maybe young adults, whether they are a first job person, whether it's in a prime, whether they are aged, whether they are retirees. We need to map out a very clear pathway for them to get ready for this super aged society, which is coming soon already, right? So I feel excited because I think that we have got a very good foundation in place, okay, a good heritage. We have got investments in technology. We have got good culture, and we are in Singapore. And Singapore, as you know, amid all the noises that we hear, right, I think Singapore remains that the beacon of hope, right, that lighthouse for the rest of the world. And DBS Bank, I think, has a key role to play for that.
Thank you for sharing that and letting us know the impact that you want to create in your role in DBS Singapore. I feel it too, because I think that the growth story of DBS is parallel with Singapore's growth story, as you have mentioned. But before you moved into the Singapore role, you led DBS in Taiwan. How much time did you spend there? And what were your most significant moments and achievements and accomplishments during that Taiwan stint?
Right. No, actually, to be more precise, before I undertake this role in Singapore, I was actually working on AI, on transformation, on strategy. When I returned from Taiwan,
It was G-Star, I remember that.
so it was called G-Star, and so I came back 2 years ago, and I was tasked to do that. But you're right that I was actually in Taiwan for 5 years actually. From 2018 to 2023, 5 years, and of course we also had to go through 3 years of COVID. So the last 3 years I was there was COVID-19
In Taiwan.
in Taiwan. It was interesting. It was not easy, not easy, but we managed to. And in the last year that I was there, we also acquired the consumer bank business of Citibank in Taiwan. So today, DBS Taiwan is the largest foreign bank in Taiwan. And so if you go and visit Taipei or anywhere in Taiwan, you will see a lot of red and black branches.
I was just there.
Great. Okay, so so I feel quite nice because I'm like, wow, we have actually planted, the flag of a Singapore company, a brand of Singapore, in a foreign land, and that's something that I feel quite happy, right, for the bank and for Singapore.
So for yourself, stepping into the role in Taiwan, from a cultural perspective, what were your biggest learnings when you first transitioned into that role?
So, I guess Taiwan, Singapore, we're all part of Asia, okay, and I don't think that there are major differences because, whether is it in terms of language, so language-wise, yes, our business language is more English, right? For in Taiwan, is Chinese, Mandarin, right? So meetings, emails, press conference, interviews like this were all done in Mandarin. Sometimes a bit of, they call it Taiyu or Taigi, which is Hokkien, right? Yeah. So language-wise, there's a bit of that difference, okay? Number two, I think the Taiwanese colleagues or people, they are very respectful, okay? And also a little bit more hierarchical, okay? So they will like to address me by my title, right? 总经理, which is general manager, or they call me 老板, right? Or the boss, okay? Or they call me 长官 as in, like officer, senior officer, right? Yeah. So I wasn't used to it initially because when I was there, I heard those titles. I said, in Singapore, I was just called my name Him Chuan, right? But they couldn't call Him Chuan because, interestingly, a lot of Taiwanese colleagues have got English names like a John, a Michael, a Tony, right? And I'm like one of the few people that do not have an English name. Right? So Him Chuan. So it's very hard for them to say Him Chuan, right? So I told them that, you call me 老板. So 老板 in Chinese, the 板, the Chinese character, 繁体字, yeah. 繁体字 has got 3 mouths, 三张口, 3 mouths. That means 你叫我老板，我肯定比你讲的大声一点。I'll definitely, because I got 3 amplifiers, I'll be louder than you, right? Yeah. Number 2, you call me 长官. 官, the word also has got 2张口, 2 mouths. I will say more than you. So please don't call me 老板 and 长官. But they are not used to it. Okay. Then I realized that they are quite used to calling people by 什么哥什么哥的. Okay. So my name is Chuan, right? So okay, call me Chuan 哥.
Chuan 哥,
so they were okay. Yeah, they were okay. So they call me Chuan 哥, but they still call me Chuan 哥总经理. So somehow, or Chuan 哥老板, right? Yeah, so they cannot get. Yeah. So that's kind of something that I had to adjust, to, but it's okay. Then the last thing I realized about Taiwanese colleagues are that they are very hardworking. Okay, but sometimes they might not. They are just too focused on doing their jobs and the work, and maybe they don't communicate enough. Okay, and because it's in Mandarin, a lot of the things that they do, actually our head office people do not understand or know. Okay, so I think that my job there was to help to bridge the gap between what they do and what the people need to know here to get the support that they needed. So it was quite nice. Yeah.
Chuan Ke, I
Chuan
don't know
Ke.
whether you felt I don't know whether you felt my excitement rising.
Yeah.
But
When I
you
say
had-
Chuan Ke.
you have given me the perfect segue
Oh.
to the question that I've been really wanting to ask you ever since I was informed that I'm giving this honor and privilege to
Okay.
interview you in this session.